What up, guys? Caterpie TCG here, doing a deck profile of Golisopod Zoroark. This is a deck that won the International Championship. Right now I'm doing deck profiles for Memphis, so I'm not doing his deck toward REKLEV'S deck list. I'm doing a deck list that I would play in Memphis. I've already crossed this deck off of my decks to test, just because it's a little inconsistent. This is my version, and this is sort of the best consistency I could get to. As with most decks, the third Tapu Lele was giving me problems, so I cut that. To Marshadow, you can play the third Lele. I don't really think it matters that much, unless you are having problems with too many Tapu Leles, which then play Marshadow, or a different tech, like Mr. Mime, or I don't know. Anyway, we have 4 Zorua. You want to play the Ram Zorua because it can attack with a DCE, and we do not play Dark Energies at all, so. 3 Zoroark GX. This is the one with Riotous Beating. Does 20 for each of your Pokemon in play, up to 120 without any amplifiers. Then in trade, you can discard a card from your hand and draw 2. Basically, Diving Draw, if you remember Empoleon. Then we also play the 1 stand-in Zoroark. You can cut this for a Golisopod GX or a Zoroark GX. But I like it because it enables you to switch between your Golisopods if you just need to attack with the Golisopod and do the 120 every turn. Because standing in a float stone, you can stand in and then retreat, and then that puts the Golisopod on your bench, and then you can use it again. So, yeah. 3 Wimpod. As I said in the Golisopod Garbodor deck list, if you are seeing Chimecho, then you might want to put in one of the other Wimpod, the one without an ability, so that you can get your Golisopods into play. Because you can't get your Zoroarks into play under the Chimecho lock. But I don't really think it matters that much unless you're seeing a lot of people playing the Chimecho card. In my local meta, they are playing it, so I am playing one of the bad Wimpod, I guess. But I don't really think it's necessary. So, 2 Golisopod GX. First impression does 30 and then 120 if it has been on your bench this turn. For a grass and 2 colorless, it does 100, and it takes 20 less damage next turn from your opponent. And then its GX attack does 150, and it makes you switch itself. This is obviously the GX attack you want to use. You can't use any other GX attack in this deck, so, yeah. 2 Tapu Lele GX. You can play a third and take out the Marshadow, or actually really any of the next 4 cards you can take out for the Lele. You can take out 2 for 2 Tapu Leles, but I prefer the 2 and then a bunch of techs, just because I need the techs a lot for different matchups. 1 Tapu Koko for getting more damage out, because 120 doesn't really one-shot anything. So if you can get out a lot of flying flips, then you will do well, especially against Gardevoir, because they're resistant to Dark. So you're only doing 100, which means you can't ordinarily two-shot them with a Zoroark. So if you are planning to use Zoroark against the Gardevoir deck, you want to use Flying Flip a lot. Mewtwo is good against Gardevoir GX, and really any Psychic deck, especially Espeon. So that's why it's in here. Mr. Mime counters Buzzwole and Ninetales. That's why it's in here. And then Marshadow Let Loose is essentially a judge when you play it down. I like it pretty well. If you don't like it, play another Lele or like an Oranguru or something. I'm not sure what you'd play instead of it, besides a Tapu Lele, but figure it out. 4N, 4 Guzma, 3 Sycamore, 2 Acerola, 1 Brigette. 2 Brigette, sorry, and 1 Mallow. There are a lot of supporters in this deck. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 supporters in this deck. If you think that's too much, I would cut out the Sycamores before anything else. You only need 1 or 2 Sycamore. Actually, you probably only want 2 Sycamores. So, yeah, but I don't really know what else you want to cut out. Maybe the Mallow, but I like it because you can, use it with trade and, get any 2 cards from your deck. 2 Ultra Ball, or 4 Ultra Ball, to get out your Pokemon. Pretty necessary. For Puzzle Time, this is kind of a new addition that no one really thought of, but it actually works really well, just because you can get out your key cards again that you don't want to play a high count of. You can play Puzzle Time, and that can sort of proxy for anything. For Field Blower, this can, just so that you don't get Choice Banded, or, you know, Garbotoxin doesn't hurt you, or it really has a lot of uses, so, even we do play for Guzma, so you can potentially cut a Float Stone off of something, and then Guzma stall. That's another possibility. For Choice Band, to enhance your own damage. 2 Enhanced Hammers, just to get rid of Gardevoir's energies. One thing is that there aren't actually any Float Stones, so you can't use a stand-in retreat with a Float Stone. That might be something you would want to include, if you find yourself using stand-in a lot. Otherwise, retreat with a DCE, and it's also good for Mind Jack, so. For DCE, and then 3 Grass, that's all your energies. Pretty good amount. I like playing Rainbow in this deck, but, it's kind of clunky, so I wouldn't try Rainbow. If you find yourself needing more energies, maybe I'd tech 1 or 2 Rainbows, but that's really it. I wouldn't play the full 4. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video of Golisopod Zoroark. Kind of a weird version, but that's kind of what I do. So yeah, leave a like on the video and subscribe to Caterpie TCG, and I will see you the next